Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the French Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank, the FCM 50T Liberte. Now this is a preferential heavy tank that is utterly insane. It's a fantastic tank and it is one of those tanks that isn't really a heavy tank. It's more of a medium tank. If you played this like the outright true brawling heavy tank that you try and swashbuckle your way through enemy teams and bounce loads of shots, it's not going to go too well because while it has been buffed, and you will see the buffs in a second, and it did actually get armor, it's not got great armor that's impervious to things, right? So you play it more of a flanking medium, use the mobility to your advantage and the incredible DPM, and you'll have a good time. And yeah, that's why I really like it, because now you have the durability with the armor buffs it got, but you can use this incredible DPM to your advantage. You're not going to see tier 10s as much, although to be honest I don't really care about being against tier 10s in this tank because it's incredible. And you just play it like a medium tank, you'll have a good time. So in terms of the armor buffs, it got an upper plate buff, or a turret front buff, sorry, from 120 to 140. Behind the mantlet, it went to 80mm, so it was 0 before, so it was actually really easy to pen, which obviously is a problem. Side armor went from 80 to 90 on its turret, and the upper hull went from 120 to 135. Now, those numbers may be kind of low, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that you're going to go bouncing everything in the world. It just means you've got a higher chance of ricocheting shots here and there, and you know, you could bounce things, whereas beforehand you were never going to bounce things. Really annoying in that way. But thing is, this tank has insane DPM, and now you've got the ability with those buffs to like bounce up and down a ridgeline, bounce ricochet shots off the turret quite easily, because before with the 0 arm behind the mantlet, that was a key problem in the fact that people shot you right next to your gun. It was going through every time. Now, there's a chance it will actually ricochet, which is cool. In terms of recruit, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Trap Mechanics, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, and Off-Road Driving. Off-Road Driving to help it get to the top speed, because it is a really quick tank, and to be able to help it get to its 50km/h top speed, I do use the off-road driving to help it with the ground resistances, essentially. And it's really helpful for that. In terms of equipment, I run rammer, traction system, and optics. Optics to be able to help the view range as much as possible, be able to spot for myself, use it in the advanced aggressive positions I'm going to be getting myself into with this tank, playing it more like a medium. Traction system to make it even quicker, because again, it's a lot about the speed, and rammer to make the DPM even better. So yeah, like I was saying, I don't really care about playing it. This does have preferential matchmaking, right, this tank. So you aren't going to be seeing tier 10s. But obviously you can fail platoon and platoon up, and you will see tier 10s like we are here. And to be honest, this is one of those preferential tanks where I don't care about seeing bottom tier, because the DPM is incredible. The gun handling's good, the mobility's good, the penetration at 212 is sound, the 259 APCR pen, which means you're going to pen all tanks you're going to face. I don't care, and as you're going to see in this game, it's going to go pretty well for the most part. And it means with the DPM that you've got, you can actually keep up with a decent amount of tier 10s as well when they're trying to do you in, which is really nice. And if you get yourself into that flanking position and get yourself into a position where you can keep this gun working, you're going to be having a good time, because it did get the armor buffs, and the armor buffs on this tank definitely made it better at bouncing things and being able to, you know, just have a little bit extra durability. But for the most part, you still don't want to be getting to the point where you've got an FE215B staring you in the face, or that's not going to happen very often if you play it correctly in the right kind of platoon. But, you know, you don't want to be staring there looking at tanks with 250 odd pen, because they're going to just destroy your armor every time. So yeah, this first game on Overlord, we are bottom tier, and we are facing tier 10s. Let's just say, like I say, it doesn't happen all that often, but again, because of the way this tank is, the great gun handling, the great mobility, the great DPM, I don't fear it. I'm not really too fussed, and you're gonna see how this tank can be so effective. Because so far we've done 5.5k damage with 736 assistance. That Super Conqueror is charging towards us. The M48 120mm comes up from F4. And I saw him coming, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go up over here and try and get a different angle. We see the mouse chin in the cap. We try and get a shot into his side, but ricochet. And then we get tagged by the 5A that was on our left, which is really annoying. Right now I'm thinking of changing up the position, going up on this ridgeline and seeing if I can get shots into the middle to shoot the WZ-5A, but he actually ends up getting shut down by the Type 5 Heavy. So we're going to go after the Super Conqueror. And right at this point, it's like the cap. The cap is a real serious issue. Randy's in a light tank, so we're saying to Randy, you're going to have to go for the cap. Like, there's no way, with the Super Conqueror here and everything else, just over there, I'm never getting to that cap. There's no hope of me getting there without dying, especially on the hit points. So we're saying to Randy, you're going to have to try to get there, right? He's been cut off by the M46 Pan, which made his approach to the cap really awkward, because, again, he's on, like, a one-shot, I think, for them. So he has to take a safer route round, and unfortunately, we get a shot into the side of the turret, the Super Conqueror. I know we're going to lose, so I take the risk to pop over and shoot him again, and it's game over. Unfortunately, Randy couldn't quite get back to the cap because the mouse chum was hiding behind the building. But we finished the game with 5 kills, MVP in the loss, 6.4k damage, 736 assistance, ace tanker, sniper, high caliber, 1815 base XP on a loss, which is an absolutely incredible game for the FCM 50T Liberte. Shame, that was one of those games where you're feeling it going, this is going to be a big game, but unfortunately, because it got cut off on the cap, we couldn't quite capitalise on it. So shame that we just couldn't quite get there. Is what it is, it happens, right? But we're on to the next game. And this time, we are top tier. This one was actually not long after they buffed it, which was like, what, 6 months ago, something like that. And we're on Abbey, which no longer sees tier 8, no longer sees tier 5 even. It sees tier 4 and below, which is odd to me, to be honest. It's like when they removed Ghost Town Mountain Pass as well. Like, sure, this map especially was horrific for tier 9 and 10, but for up to tier 7, tier 8, it was fine. Same as Mines. Mines is okay for up to tier 7, I'd say. And Ghost Town was, I always thought Ghost Town was fine at tier 10 anyway. You just played it right, it was alright. And Mountain Pass again is another one that I always felt was alright. I don't get why those 4 maps got relegated to tier 4 and below and then left us with what we've got. More variety is always nice, right? And I don't quite understand that. But we're on Abbey. And it's something that you're not going to see because, again, it's unless they randomly add it back into the map rotation, which would be nice, but I doubt it. We're taking the middle, which is the important bit. We rode up into the middle, got onto the Trailblazer, loaded the HE, because I could pen the Trailblazer with the HE, and we pumped him full of 300 alpha HE, which is lovely. Got rid of him, it meant that he had to run away, and now we're attacking the guys that are trying to climb up into the middle. So unfortunately we only track the 59-2 there. I don't want this guy to survive, because he's got high alpha, and that's not great for me. The extra armor that I've got from the buffs will help me a little bit here. It will mean that I'll probably bounce it a little bit, but we've now got some nice shots into the side of the Tiger one, which we're not going to turn down. We get a shot into him. He's not paying attention to us whatsoever, and we get another side into him. I'm not sure what that Tiger one was thinking, but hey-ho. We go for the Cupola on the M48 Round Panzer, which is a weak spot, although that tank did recently get, I think it buffed the other day, and that Cupola is a lot harder to pen now. So just be aware of that. You're probably going to need premium for that. And we're going to go for it again, just like that. That was kind of a sad point of Round Panzer's armor, that Cupola was so weak, but yeah, everything else on the tank was decent. So yeah, the FCM 50T Liberte is such a solid tank, and I believe it's on discount at the minute because of Bastille Day. Happy Bastille Day to you French people that are celebrating it. And this is one of those tanks that I would always say is the most solid pickup you could have, because it's a preferential matchmaking tank, so if you're getting sick of getting tier 10 all the time, you can take it out and have fun. The gun and DPM is insane. To be honest, this is a tier 8.5 tank. It's so good that it could nearly be a tier 9, but it's got preferential matchmaking. So when you're actually bottom tier against tier 9s, you're extremely competitive against them, and that's the worst you're ever going to face, which is, you know, pretty nice generally. So this T25/2 is coming up, and we shut him down. He's gone. And we're going to go now back into the middle and use the middle as it should be on Abbey and get shots down on the T34 or the light tank. But there is actually tanks down there attacking these TDs and light tanks. So as much as I could go get shots on this T34, I'm going to try and help out the tank destroyer and light tank over there, the Ferdinand and that. It's actually a tier 6 VK. Don't really have to worry about that too much, but it's easy farms, right? So we're going to start helping him. And in fact, there's another heavy tank that's come out from down the 8-9 line. So once this VK's gone, we can start getting shots at him too. So we shut down the VK, and now we're going after the Tiger Shark. Oh, it's another Tiger 1. Like I say, if you're facing Tiger 1s in this thing, those things aren't going to stand a chance. You face a lot of tier 7s, they're not going to stand a chance against this thing. This thing will just rip them to shreds, which is why I always say, on discount, in bundles, or anything, this tank is incredible and well worth picking it up. Just don't play it like a heavy tank. Don't think it is a heavy tank. Play it like a medium tank. This is essentially the preferential matchmaking CDC, right? Because the gun is the same. It's got better DPM, better gun handling, mobility's relatively similar. I think it has worse top speed, but it gets there just as well, right? And it plays the same job as the CDC, but you've got preferential matchmaking. The tank's incredible. It's well worth getting on picking up on the discounts for Bastille Day that we've got until Tuesday, I believe, possibly. Such a good tank. So now that the threat has been dealt with, there's only 3 tanks left. We're 7-3 up. So we're going to go cut off this light tank. We try and get a shot into him, but we shoot just a little bit too low. It was a really poor shot, and we end up missing that guy. And unfortunately, their light tanks have started to just kill people, although I think that's when the kill feed bug was still going. They've just killed someone anyway. And we're now going for this Tiger Shark. We tried to fire the last round of HE we had to try and finish him off, because we could finish him off with the HE round, but unfortunately we don't quite get him. And I'm just watching what they're doing, because obviously if that light tank turns around at B2, same as the light tank that's just been killed by the dragon and decided to come round, they've got a good clip, they could clip me out, and I don't want that. There is this 110 though, he is down here, so we get a tracking shot into him. Now we're going to go for the lower plate. Now we ricochet off the lower plate. I think I probably hit the upper plate, I'm not quite sure, with the outline through the bushes. But now we get a nice shot into his lower plate. We're just being careful, because obviously he does have a pretty good gun, the 110. 320 alpha, it'll put me down to a one-shot, so I'm just trying to limit the chances that this guy has to shoot me. Unfortunately, we've not really been penning him very well, but we've kept tracking him. And that's it. If I wasn't firing through the bushes there, I probably would have penned him more. I was probably hitting his upper plate instead of his lower plate there, but just wasn't quite seeing it. But we finished with the victory, 6 kills, 5.6k damage, 944 assistance, a good amount of credits. Ace Tanker, Top Gun, High Caliber, 2.4k base XP, and a great game for the FCM 50T Liberte. Honestly, the FCM 50T and the Liberte, both versions of the tank are well worth picking up for a 30% discount. They're such a good tank. It's got preferential matchmaking as well. What's not to love? So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!